Hey, what's up, North47 here, and welcome along to part 2 of the little 3-part series here, going back through the golf club games from 2014 up until present day with the Golf Club 2019. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Golf Club 2 and having a look at the differences between that and the first game. If you didn't see the previous video where we played Augusta National, but Magnolia National in TGC 1, I do suggest going and checking that video out before this one, or even after this one, whichever you prefer, especially if you never actually played the Golf Club 1. If you only start getting into the franchise with the Golf Club 2 or even with the Golf Club 2019. So if you've never seen the Golf Club 1 before, I do suggest going and checking it out. It's not the best. It's not the best of scoring. We didn't really pay attention to the score. We were just as I say, just playing around and just having a look at where the franchise started off from, what HB had visioned and what they wanted their game to be, and where it's grown from there. But as I did say, what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be checking out the Golf Club 2 and having a look at how it's grown from the Golf Club 1. So straight away here on the main menu anyway, you can see straight away some notable differences. Obviously we have the introduction of the training facility, which gave access to the driving range, which you can see there in the background, or you had the chipping practice, you had the putting green, so you could work on your swing. If you wanted to warm up before a round, or if you were just feeling a little bit rusty or weren't feeling your swing was where you wanted it to be, you could head in there for as long as you wanted and just hit ball after ball until you felt you were back to where you wanted to be. We also have the career mode. Now, career mode was actually brought into TGC 1, which I didn't mention in the previous video. It was brought in, I can't remember how long into the game it was brought in, but it was only a very, very basic thing. This kind of branched out a little, or expanded a little bit more, and it was a little bit more in depth, but was still quite lacking. But the main thing that people loved was obviously the introduction of online societies, where we could have obviously societies or clubs. And bear with me, I have been sitting here with my headset on for the last 25 minutes waiting for the auto shutdown to kick in, and now that I've started recording, it starts recording. But anyway, back to where we were. Yeah, the online societies, where the society president could set up an event, be it one day, it could be a week, or I can't remember the maximum length of time that it could be set for, but everybody could play against each other, and obviously it's going to be tournament style, whatever amount of coins it goes all into the purse. You know how it works anyway from TGC 2019. And also returning from TGC 1 was obviously the course designer, which was expanded on again. There was more stuff added into that, and I'm pretty sure, yeah, to a degree anyway, there was the multi-level water feature, so you weren't just confined to that one level of water, and you had to work around it. If you wanted water on a hole 200 feet higher than the base water plane, you're more than welcome to go and do that as well. We also had the introduction to be able to edit your golfer and equipment, so now we could properly customize our golfer. So you can see when I reinstalled the game yesterday and I loaded up, all my stats are still here, so handicap, and I still have some coins and stuff, but my golfer himself got fully reset. So you could select your nationality, your handedness, your gender. So we had, I tried to remember, was there female golfers in TGC 1? Actually, I can't remember. I think there was. Appearance, quite in depth as well. Appearance, you could have your golfer looking as close to yourself as you wanted, or as crazy as you wanted, whatever. And good selection of clothing. And we also had the introduction of multiple club sets. So we had the standard, we had the player, which is similar to the club sets that are the only club set in the Golf Club 1, and then obviously we have the tour, which is the one that I use myself. But we also then were given the option to go in and not only customize the look of our clubs, but change out our clubs for whatever we wanted to have in the bag. So you can see there in the bag I have the driver, 3 wood, 5 wood, 3 hybrid, 4 iron down through to 9 iron, and pitching wedge, sand wedge, and lob wedge, and obviously the putter. We'll leave that club there now. I cannot remember what clubs I used to play with in TGC 2, but we'll just leave it at this for now anyway, just for the purpose of this video. What else before we dive into a round did we get the introduction of? I'm trying to think. I really need to start writing down bullet points for my videos, especially when I'm doing things like this, rather than just going unscripted, because it'd be a lot easier. We also had, yeah, one thing that I failed to mention in the previous video was if we go into play, we have a bigger selection here now of the way that we want to do. Now we're going to go into all courses, and you'll notice straight away I'll type in a search. Now I did play around on it earlier on just to get a feel for the game again, but L3 this time. Yeah, I'm pressing triangle nearly there. Now this might take a little bit of time. I did notice when I was doing it earlier that it was taking quite a while just for the text to show up after doing the search. It'll probably make a liar out of me now, but no, it's searching now. We're going to search for Magnolia. We're going to stay with Magnolia National, so we can see the differences graphically as well as gameplay on the same course. So we'll be doing the same in the next video on TGC 2019. So if Magnolia would ever go into the search, that would be great. Should appear any second, hopefully, otherwise I might just edit this bit out. There it is. Okay, so we have the option of search name, and that's what I was going to say. The big difference now is after searching the course in the previous game, if you did see the previous video, you remember that after typing in Magnolia it was just a list of names. So if you only had the rough name and you could only remember Magnolia, you type in Magnolia and you've just got this list of names. You'd have to click into each one and hope, if you've seen the thumbnail that then shows up, you'd have to individually search each one to try and find the thumbnail that you were looking for if you didn't have the full name. Whereas now I believe the version that we're going to be playing today it has the highest amount of plays is Magnolia National First Edition, so 29,457 plays. That's what we're going to be playing today. I really do hope that this is the same version, or this version is from the same designer as the Magnolia National in TGC 1. If not, I do apologise. But we shall click on New Round. Still in TGC 2, like in TGC 1, you cannot change the course conditions, so whatever the designer set them at, so we'll just go back actually really quickly, whatever the designer set them at, that's what they're going to be. So obviously fairways and greens are going to be firm and the green speed is going to be fast. So back into New Round again. We actually, just before we go, we actually also had the option then to do practice here, so that'll take you directly into the practice facility, and I believe somebody might be able to correct me down below if I'm wrong, but I believe it would put you, I think, onto the standard HB created practice facility, but it would give you the conditions that the course was going to be playing at, especially if you were playing in the likes of an online society. But what we also have now with TGC 2 is, which was a big welcome for, especially for designers, was the multi-tee and multi-pin locations, which meant that designers didn't have to publish multiple versions of the course. So doing, like we played yesterday, we played Magnolia National Thursday Tour, so that was the Thursday pin locations. Then there's also a Friday, Saturday and Sunday all tour edition, so 4 different versions of the course, whereas now the designer could just create the one course, put in 4 pin locations and multiple tee locations as well if wanted, and that was a big time saver as well for designers. So we're going to be playing off the white tees today, which are 7,381 yards, and we'll keep it on pin set 1. And I can't remember how long the loading screens are here now, so I may well just edit this out. If I do, actually to be honest I will, I'll see you in just a second down on the first tee. Okay, so here we are down on the first tee. It didn't actually take too long to load in, but I thought I'd just cut out the black screen anyway. So straight away you can see it's fairly similar to TGC 1, but it does look a little bit more fresh looking, a little bit sharper, a little bit crisper. So a big graphical improvement over the first one, in my opinion anyway. You may well think completely the opposite. Excuse me. One thing that we will more than likely see throughout the round is, when I was talking in the previous video about, we actually still can, so if I actually zoom down here and I aim over the bunker, it's still aimed over the fairway, so we still had to manually aim over to the right if you wanted to aim at this particular spot. Ooh, there's a fast downswing. That's what I was going to say. There's the introduction. We have the introduction of the tempo swing, but what I was going to say is, I'll get more into that now in a second, but what I was going to say is what we have the introduction of now is, what's the word I'm looking for? Dynamic lighting and sky kind of thing. But what you see is, at the moment it is fairly cloudy, but we should see it get nice and bright where the sun comes out from behind the clouds. I didn't have that in TGC 1, and I was mentioning on one of the hauls, I can't remember, somewhere on the back 9, about how it was the colour palette that I was thinking. It was a lot of courses constantly felt like what you see now on the screen, very dull. It wasn't very vibrant or anything like that, but that really changed it up, made it feel a lot better. We also had the introduction of crowds as well for during events. Unfortunately, they weren't seated in grandstands or anything during this game, but just to have the crowds in there, you could put the grandstands in, but unfortunately they were just unoccupied constantly. So 44, I'm going to be playing about 47. This should be pretty nice actually. But yeah, going back to, we have the introduction with TGC2 of the tempo swing. Kind of basic compared to what we have now in TGC 2019, but still a major improvement over TGC 1. It feels a lot more natural, as well as the putting. We're playing on the same speeds here, 187 greens, the fastest speed, and it feels a lot more natural. In TGC 1 with the 187s, it felt more like I was playing on a medium speed green. I felt like I was having to put a lot more weight behind the putts, even for a short putt like a 5, 6, up to 10 foot putt. A number of people weren't very happy with the introduction of the tempo swing. Now I don't know why, because it's a major. Now I don't play golf personally myself in real life. I mean, I've no problem. I'll go down to a big local field and I'll take an 8 or a 9 iron or something like that and just hit a few balls around the field. But I mean, as for going out on an actual golf course, I don't myself. I am genuinely terrible at golf in real life. I can play pitch and putt and stuff, no problem, but as for actual golf, I'm shockingly bad. I do more destruction to a golf course than it just wouldn't be worth my while even getting off the first tee, basically, is the way to put it. Let me see if we can work this one out really quickly. 224, going to be playing about 213, call it 207 with the wind. So again, yeah, zoomed in, you still can't change the clubs, you have to come all the way back out. So what did I say, 207, we'll just hit the 4 iron down there. But yeah, a number of people weren't happy with the introduction of the tempo swing and wanted it to be more like the way TGC 1 was. But the majority of the player base, myself included, felt it is more natural with the tempo swing. But this as well, although I think we did have it, but it was very, very minimal. I was about to do a pitch shot there. Very, very minimal in TGC 1, but it started to pick up a little bit in TGC 2. Was the accusations. Controversial subject of the accusations. Where with the tempo swing, now watching my swing line on the shot feedback throughout this round, I'm sure everybody knows what I'm already getting into here is the straight shooting and the cheating. Where if you were to shoot below a certain, so if you were to consistently shoot 12, 13, 14, 15, even 16 or 17 under par, you could bet your house on it nearly that you were going to get your round ghosted by at least 1 or 2 people who were going to go full detective mode and just, what's the word I'm looking for? Scrutinize, is that the word that I'm looking for? But they were focused in on your swing line. They wanted to see, have you got laser straight shots? It wasn't as bad as what it is now in TGC 2019. And fast downswing. It's safe. We still don't have the option as well to speed up the shots. Again, that was only introduced in TGC 2019, but we do have the option now as well with the D-pad to switch the cameras around. So that was a nice little improvement as well. Little minor improvement over TGC 1. But back to the controversy. Yeah, if you could consistently shoot well, you could guarantee you were going to have people following you, ghosting you around for at least one of your rounds to see, is there any shots that are kind of bending or pixelated lines and all this. If you had constant laser, they were just looking for that constant laser straight shot. And that's where that began. Let's see, straight up shot will do here. It's pretty decent, very, very slight pull to it. But can it sit quick? It does. Nice approach in there. But yeah, definitely back to the putting. The putting just feels so much more natural in this game. Like with 187 greens, I don't feel like I'm having to take a sledgehammer or a lump hammer, whatever you want to call it, and wallop the ball to get it to go 10 feet, whereas it really, really did feel like that in TGC 1. I mean, TGC 1 was a great game. It was, don't get me wrong, it was a great game. Absolutely loved it. But TGC 2 greatly, greatly improved on. And as you can see now in the background, you can see the sun has come out behind the clouds. It's looking a lot brighter and a lot more, I'm pretty sure vibrant is the word that I'm looking for. But just looking at the course as well, again, I do apologise if this version is not done by the same designer ported across from TGC 1, but you can see it looks a lot crisper, it looks a lot neater. We also have, yeah, the introduction to kart paths as well. They were brought in. If I remember correctly, they were not in TGC 1. I didn't notice them actually in the previous round, in the previous video. So 230 or 246. That's going to be playing about 236. Call it 226 with the wind. So I'm thinking even a hybrid might be too much. We'll try a 4-iron. That's a good swing. It's coming around nicely. Now, they are firm and fast, but no, not with this green. It's not getting up there. It is not getting up there. As you can see there now, just at the bottom left of the screen, it is still a little bumpy and jaggedy around the edges of the bunkers and stuff. But overall, things were a lot cleaner and neater looking than compared to TGC 1. Now let's see, I was getting some backspin when I played a couple of little quick rounds to get a feel for this one again. Let's see if we can get some out of the bunker here. Ooh, really badly pulled that one. Yeah, it's come back a little bit, nothing major. But we did still have a little bit of backspin. It was kind of toned down a little bit. Excuse me, it toned down a little bit over TGC 1. That was quite extreme. If you did see the previous video, you'll know what I mean by that. If you haven't seen it, I do genuinely suggest going and checking it out. But I'm not going to focus too much on putts, like for reading the greens the way that I normally do. It's just around, just to have a look at the differences over TGC 1. I remember when TGC 2 first came out, I think it was about an hour and a half, if not 2 hours, in the Golfer Creator, fine-tuning the face, trying to make it look as ugly as me. And then obviously the selection of clothes, that was one major thing that I loved, was being able to customize the golfer, because it did make it feel like you were your own individual player in the game then, whereas it wasn't just the generic golfer with a small selection of clothing to choose from. Because more often than not, if you were ghosting another player and you had turn order on, you could actually be, your character could be, we would just say for example, dressing all black shoes, black trousers, black shirt, black hat, the whole lot, and the person that you're playing against could be exactly the same. Or you just see a lot of players come like complete polar opposite, dressed all white, or could be all red, or whatever combination. But it was very, very limited. So let's see if we can have a little look now at the loft. Another thing that was brought in as well, as you can see now, is the lie grid. In TGC 1, there wasn't really, the ball lie didn't actually really, I only really noticed it after recording the video when I was looking back at it, is that the ball lie didn't really affect the trajectory of your shot, whereas now in TGC 2 it does. As you can see as well, the shot modifier on the right, the feedback cone has stayed the same, but the shot modifier, as you can see, has greatly changed. Gone is that grid of squares inside it. Now we just have these white lines. But what a lot of people figured out fairly quick was, if we have, this shot's going to be playing about 135 to the pin. Now with that wind, I'll probably take about maybe 9 or 10 off that, so 120, let's say 126. Probably not going to be perfect, but we'll say 126. So it's this club now, the pitching wedge is going to carry 130. One little tap and it moves slightly. I don't know if you saw that. I'll just reset it. Just keep an eye on that horizontal line there. Just one little tap, You can see it moving there. That should knock about 2-3 yards off, so that should bring it back to about 127, 128. I'll give it one more little tap. Now the wind has picked up a little bit, so I don't know if I want to give it another one to be safe. I'll give it another slight little tap. Oh, I pushed that now, so that might lose a little bit of yardage, but it is coming back around. Yardage is pretty good, not too bad, a little bit too much left, but I did just push it well off to the right. But that's one thing that a lot of people caught on to very quick, was just that one little slight movement, especially with your wedges and your irons, would take roughly about 2-3 yards off your carry distance, and I'm pretty sure de-lofting it was the same. It would add on 2-3 yards as well. So we've got a big putt here now. Another graphical improvement as well was we no longer have, for reading the grid lines, we don't have the drunk vision of what we had in TGC 1. So that was a welcome change as well. Let's just have a little look. It's going to be braking right to left there, majority left to right. Actually, what's it? And as well, we could do is have a little look at the lie grid, changing up to the driver to a wedge. So I think I'll just play it straight. Just focus on getting it up that slope. Nowhere near the hole. Oh well, it's still going. As you can see now, I would have had to hit that a lot harder, or pull back a lot further on the putter in TGC 1 to get that far up that slope, even with the greens being a 187. But we, as I did mention earlier on the video, still didn't have the option to customize the course conditions. We still don't have the option as well for wind conditions, and that's one thing that I failed to mention as well in the previous video. I'm pretty sure I did anyway, which those of you who have played from TGC 1 all the way through all the games, you will remember this very well, was the wind weighting in TGC Tours. The wind weighting, the famous wind weighting, was a pain in the backside. Now, in all fairness, I was guilty of it myself a number of times in TGC 1. For those of you who don't know what the wind weighting was, it was, you can see the course conditions here now, 6 mile per hour wind. That's a nice favourable course condition. But if you were to load into the event and the winds were gusting 12, 13, 14 mile per hour, no, I don't like them conditions. I'll back out and I'll try again in a couple of hours. Come back in a couple of hours. If the winds are still the same, no, back out again. Right, we'll go back in another couple of hours later. Have a look. The default wind conditions change every set amount of time. So once those winds drop down to a more favourable condition for yourself, then you play around. And it kind of ticked a lot of people off with the wind weighting. As I say, I was guilty of it myself a number of times, but then I just decided, well sure, at the end of the day, if it was real life and it was a tournament and I had to play, if I was out in the course, if I had windy conditions and the person playing after me had calm conditions, that's tough luck for me. I've got the windy conditions, that person has the calm conditions. So I said, why not play? If I'm going to play bad anyway, I'm going to play bad. But I believe that was actually patched late into TGC 1 cycle. It was back briefly for a short period again, if I do remember correctly, at the start of TGC 2, and straight away people were onto the forums saying the wind weighting is back, and fairly quick TGC, or not TGC but HB, got that patched and got it fixed. But it was a big problem for quite a while, and we're in trouble off the tee here. That's me talking away during the shots. Into the pine straw we go. But again, pine straw is not too bad. Much rather be in the pine straw than in the rough. Doubt we're going to get the green, playing about 178. Call it 182, 183, maybe a little bit more with the wind. No, we're definitely not going to get there. We're just going to club it down and we'll go with a punch shot. I think we can go a little bit further. As you can see, we still have the old style aiming circle here as well. Nothing when you zoom down the fairway or into the green. So we'll just punch it up the fairway. Oh, still hit the tree even with a punch shot. Decent shot though. So we've got 86. That's going to be playing about 92. Lob wedges, only an 85 yard carry on tour clubs. So what did I say, about 92, probably about 95, 96 with the wind, maybe. Actually, I think that might be just right. Now let's give this a 20 tap count out to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 20. Now what's the lie? Give it another 3 just for the lie. Let's play... Okay, that's turned into a crosswind. So I said 1 tap. That should be knocking about 2-3 yards off. I'll give it another slight tap. That's a decent swing. Very, very slight bit of fade on it. Ooh, still a little bit long, but it is coming back. As you can see, there is the backspin. Do still have that bit of backspin in the game. Just don't come back too far. Again, though, we still don't have the option to speed up the shots. But definitely the game looks so much better over TGC 1. Graphically as well as gameplay wise, and very nice. But just noticing there, have a look at that cup. Have a look at the cup. Have a look at the hole on each hole. I don't know if it's actually just me. But TGC 1 and now again in TGC 2, the hole looks very, very small. It looks a lot smaller than it should be. I don't know if it's just me, the way that I'm looking at it. But maybe you can comment down below if you think it looks the same yourself. I'm trying to do TGC 2019 again and aim while I'm zoomed down. As you can see, the old big push there, that is bunkered. The wind is not going to save that, but I was going to say, as you can see, the clouds have come back again. Now, how are we going to be in the bunkers? If I remember correctly, they did fix it. Yeah, I've got a good lie here. You're not always guaranteed to be severely punished when you end up in the bunkers in TGC 2. I think a 7-iron is the best I'm going to get out of here, especially with the height of that bunker lip. So we'll just smack it up there as far as we can. But with not being a designer as well, I can't comment on the overall improvements of the designer. But if you are a designer yourself and you have played TGC 2 as well as TGC 1, you will know the major differences and upgrades to the designer. In particular, the ones that just kind of the quality of life improvements and help you regain your sanity, and that's a good approach. Get your sanity back, especially with the likes of being able to put in the multiple T positions and pin locations. But I mean, as you can see, it's a lot tighter. If I remember correctly, there was the introduction of the splines in this game. I think they are improved upon even more so again in TGC 2019, making things even easier and a lot quicker for getting the process of doing fairways, rough and all that stuff. You can still see bunker wise, I don't think it was a thing in TGC 2, where we do still have that little band of light rough or heavy rough, whichever it is, around the edges of fairway bunkers. Whereas what designers can do now in TGC 2019 is to plop a fairway bunker in. So what we should actually see here now, greenside, in a second. But what designers can do now in TGC 2019 is they can create bunkers with splines, and it doesn't give the little band of rough. So you can see the little band of light or heavy, yeah, it'd be just light rough, that little uneven band of light rough going all around the bunker here, just making it kind of look a little messy. You can still see it's kind of a little bit jaggedy, but again, as I say, like there was the splines and stuff, but it wasn't as refined as what it is now. Again, not being a designer, I can't fully comment on that, but I do, from messing around in the designer the odd time, trying my hand at it. I do like in TGC, I do like in 2019, should I say, being able to do bunkers with splines and not have that little band of rough, so it's just fairway straight into the bunker. Me personally, I think it looks a lot neater. So we've got 139. Add on about 12, so 149, 151, call it 160-ish. So let me see, I tell you what, we'll try the loft again with the 7-iron. So that'd be back to 165. Say about there. Hopefully about there is right. Oh, I pulled it that time, so I think we're actually in the bunker. Talking to the bunkers, we're in the bunkers. We are, that's going to plug. But yeah, as I say, I'm not a designer, so I can't comment fully on all design features, but definitely I do know that there are some big improvements for like quality of life wise and design wise, making things a lot simpler for all you designers out there. And without all you designers as well, a number of people have said this, that the golf club would have died probably even before TGC 2 came out. It really did keep the game going. I know I did mention in the previous video that a little while after I did pick up the game, I did stop for a number of months, due to the fact that I was only getting these Mickey Mouse crazy golf courses. I flipped it. But no, definitely once I'd been put onto TGC Tours, then I signed up for it and discovered it. Like, that really brought the life back, discovering all these courses, whether fantasy or RCR, and just seeing the work, the blood, sweat and the tears that people would be putting into designing these courses. Like, for example, this course here, Magnolia National, recreating Augusta National. I wouldn't even dare hazard a guess as to the amount of hours that it took the designer to do this. I don't know if everything is picture perfect or the way that it's supposed to be elevation wise, but just for me, even the thought of taking on the challenge of doing an RCR like this, where people are definitely going to ridicule you if even just the slightest thing is off, if even just like it's an elevation change is slightly different to what the course should be in real life and such, you're going to be examined on absolutely everything by the people who really, especially other designers, saying no, that needed to be a higher elevation, lower elevation, or this area of the fairway needs to be smooth, there's no slope there, all that sort of thing. That bunker's 10 feet left where it should be over there a little bit more, should be 10 feet more to the right, all that sort of stuff. But whereas you have that a lot more freedom to just go wild, as realistic or as crazy as you want with the fantasy courses. And that for me is what has helped keep the golf club afloat. It has really picked up its player base from especially for more. Oh, that was a lot of loft there. Especially, I'm just playing TGC 2019 loft there. That's the problem. Yeah, really picked up its player base in TGC 2, but it's grown even more so now, obviously, with TGC 2019. For me, again, personally, I think it felt like a bit of a niche title for TGC 1. There was a good player base there. Oh, is it going to sit or is it going to come back? Oh, it's going to come back. We're going to have a repeat of TGC 1 now, I think. Are we? No, we're not. But yeah, it was kind of it was nowhere near as strong, I don't think. Like, I mean, there was still a very high number of players, but nowhere near what we have now in TGC 2019. I mean, I'm sure a lot of you are aware, I'm one of the admins on the PS4 golf community page, the Golf Club PS4 community page. I can never get the name of it right for some reason. I don't know why when I'm not looking at it. But I mean, we still regularly on a daily basis get numerous people joining that have only picked up the game, and so there's still people becoming a part of the community on PS4 anyway. I don't know what it's like on Xbox or PC. Excuse me. Oh, a big push there. I don't know what it's like on Xbox or PC in terms of player base growth, but hopefully it is still growing very strong over on those two platforms as well. And I can only hope it grows even more for the next game. I don't know when that's going to be. Still haven't heard anything at all from HB as to what the plans are, but hopefully we do hear something soon. I do, to be honest though, hope that it's not, because obviously TGC 2 was released in 2017, TGC 2019 in 2018 was released. I do hope that it's obviously being 2019 now. I highly doubt there's going to be one out this year. We haven't heard nothing, but I don't want to see the game go down the road of being a yearly release. I really don't want to. I feel that could make it go very stale and end up like the EA games, in terms of what can be improved upon this year. what can be improved. To be honest, if it was to go down that road, there's only so many things that could be improved, especially with the power restrictions that they might have. Now I know obviously the PS5 and the new Xbox and all, they're going to have a lot more power compared to the PS4 and the Xbox One, but again, it's still limited to the power, and depends on what their vision is. I'd rather it be, even if it was every 2 years to release a game. 2 years, not. I know TGC 1 had a lifespan of 3 years before TGC 2 was released, but I'd rather not the 3 years, but even if it was just every second year. So every 2 years release one maybe. Give us a little bit of time as well, especially going back to designers. Give designers good time, because some designers do take a number of months to release courses. They really want to get them as perfect, like fantasy course wise, want to get them as perfect as they possibly can, squeezing every little bit of that film meter out of it without going to be causing too much lag problems and stuff on the course. But as well also for RCR designers who want to get everything as close as possible. And here we are back at, yes, it's Golden Bell, Stephen, it's Golden Bell. If you caught the previous video, you'll know what I mean. But yeah, for the likes of RCR designers wanting to get the course they're doing as close as humanly possible, and with the tools that they have in the designer, as close as possible to the real thing, they definitely need a little bit more time than just a year, especially. Not too bad of a swing in the Windholder, especially if it's only a yearly. Oh, that's shy. I took a little bit too much loft on that one, but yeah, as I keep interrupting myself. Like I say, like designers take a good number of months sometimes to release a course, as they really want to. And that was a terrible flop shot. Make it as playable and as best as they can for the rest of us in the community. That's a pitch shot. That's a pitch shot. Why did it put me on a pitch shot? As soon as I saw the club head come back, I knew it was a pitch shot, but I stupidly did not cancel it. I didn't cancel out of it. Change that camera angle there. So now we need a little pitch shot anyway, or actually a little flop shot. Little flop shot. Full loft on it, and hopefully this one gets on the green. We're certainly not getting a birdie like in TGC 1. We're still not on the green. This is me talking away. I'm not concentrating at all. I'm hitting horrible shots. Now it has me on a chip shot, and I didn't even look. I was just looking at the backswing. I didn't look at what it set me on. But that was a big mistake out of that bunker. That's actually, yeah, that's where it's set. No, was I in the bunker there or not? Either way, I don't know why it automatically set me on a pitch shot. Either way, I don't know why I wasn't paying attention. Actually, that's it. That's the simple answer there. Why was I not paying attention? A lot of red numbers on the scorecard. But again, we're not paying attention to score for these rounds. We're just having a look at the different games, where the golf club has come from, where it all began, and where it is now. So yeah, we all know Augusta and Magnolia now at this stage. So we'll skip the flybys. Now, do I want to put a bit of draw on this? Because, yeah, the wind should pull it around as well. Let's see if we can't play a little bit of decent golf for the remainder of the round. Especially after that, I completely made a mess of the previous hole there. I've been making a mess of a few holes now with talking away. So, we have 197. I'm going to be playing about 195. 5 iron's going to carry 192. Greens are firm and fast. Let me see, we'll put about that much loft on it. Hopefully that should be enough. I'm not going to go into the taps. We'll do the tap stuff for the aiming. We'll just put out a little bit more off the ball line. That's a good swing. Now, did I put too much loft on? Oh, it's getting a decent run. Decent run. We've got a good look at eagle here, so maybe we can try and salvage back and finish this one under par. Yeah, we won't go into. I won't go into details of reading the greens and stuff. We'll just play away. So 18 footer. But yeah, the putting as well. The putting just feels so much more natural. It doesn't feel like I'm having to. I did mention earlier, having to really wallop the ball to get it to go, especially with the greens being 187s and set to firm as well. So we do pick up a birdie actually. I think we got a birdie earlier on in the round. We must have a look at the scorecard after this hole. But I hope you're enjoying this this little mini series anyway as well, as I have mentioned I think a couple of times already, as well as in the previous video. Looking back at where the golf club has come from, going up to where it currently is today with TGC 2019. Especially if you never played TGC 1 or TGC 2, if you did only get into the games during TGC 2019. Just about coming back into the fairway there. So 159, 8 iron's going to carry 155, we'll call it 163 maybe with the wind. So give that a couple of taps up, pop it out to about there. Oh, I pulled it that time. It's going to hold pretty straight against that wind. Can I kick on? Oh, go on. Oh, nice fortunate little bounce, and it's running towards the hole. Oh, keep going. Great outcome. For pulling the shot left, that was a great outcome. Well, no, it's not. I spoke too soon. I spoke a bit too soon there. I thought we were going to have a nice, easy little putt. But no, we're not. We're going to be left with 23 feet to the pin, up a foot. So I'm playing about, what, 41? A little bit of left to right, a little bit of right to left. Majority is right to left, so I'll put it just outside right edge. Give it enough to get up there. Oh, and in it goes. So we do get the birdie. Now, how many birdies have we gotten? So 4 birdies. Okay, well we're... Oh, net... Oh no, sorry, total is +4. I think a net score was, or handicap score was on there. So we're 4 over. Not too bad. I think we finished the last one about 8 over or something like that. So let's see if we can squeeze an eagle out of this hole. Oh, not with that big push. Not with that big push. I wouldn't mind. Earlier on when I was playing, I was hitting consistently good shots. Now that I'm recording, I think somebody else mentioned this before, only recently as well. That and I do find it myself to be true. That when you're not for the likes of myself and other YouTubers, like when we're not recording, we play a lot better because we're focusing more on the shots. We're not talking away and commentating while playing. So we tend to play a little bit better when we just have the shots to focus on. This is going to have to be a punch shot. This should be okay. Still caught the branches, which I am happy for. It will kill a little bit of pace there. It's not going to go all the way down and then battle its way through the rough and into the water. But that should leave us just a nice little pitch shot over to the hole anyway. So we can still hopefully get away with birdie. Now 56. I'll put one little touch of loft on this and that should be enough. Oh, not with that pull. Wow, I'm overcompensating for the push that I got now on the previous shot. But still, is it going to hold the green? Just onto the fringe. It'll still putt from there, so it might be able to escape with a birdie. Yeah, that doesn't look too bad. Maybe just outside right edge. Just give it the weight to get there. Oh, can it come back? Oh, a little bit more out. So just going to be a par. Again, no, I'm not really, as I did mention, I'm not too worried about the score itself. It's just having a little look at the different games, and again, I know I'm like a broken record now at this stage, where the game has come from, where it all began, and where it is currently now at the moment. And in the next video, what I'll try and do is I'll try and remember to actually jot down some little bullet point notes, where I can hopefully talk about things that I'd like to see in the next golf club game. That was a decent swing. It needed to be, with that water on the left. Now, is it going to hit that slope and kick back? Oh, go on. Come back down to the hole. Come on. That's a beautiful shot into that green. Still a little bit on the cloudy side, waiting for the sun to come back out. Well, this should be just a little right edge. There we go. So we do get another birdie finally. I think that's what, 3 over now? 3 over it is indeed, with 2 to play. Again, I'm about to try and do the TGC 2019 style of aiming to the left. Oh, I pushed it, but I got it fast, so they're going to cancel each other out. Got a little bit lucky to get the fast downswing there, actually. Yeah, it's a very basic tempo swing. It doesn't give you as much feedback as what TGC 2019 does as to how fast were you and do you need or even slow or whatever. It really is a lot more in depth in 2019. So 156 roughly, call it 160 with the wind. And no, I don't want to do that. Maybe a little bit of loft. We are on a bit of an upslope. It's not too bad. A little bit of fade onto it. Oh, if we can stay up, stay up, stay up. That's a good approach in there. That's not bad at all. That's looking, if it stops, like it might be about 13, 14 feet. $12 I was looking up at the top right. I was like, where's my distance? I'm so used to TGC 2019 with being able to do the offset HUD. Is it good? Oh, I just burned that left edge. But we do walk away with a par. So, moving on to the final hole of Augusta, or Magnolia National First Edition here on TGC 2. The winds are a little bit calmer as well this round. They were quite a bit stronger in TGC 1. I think they were gusting. They were hovering in around about the 11 to 13 mile per hour wind, if I remember correctly. I was recording that very late last night, and by the time I'd finished recording and then piecing it together, putting it together, the intros and stuff, and getting it ready to upload, I think it was after 2 AM anyway, and I couldn't even see straight. I was that tired by the time I was going to bed. But this should be playing roughly 203, 210. So maybe a little bit of D-loft on the 4-iron. So what's no, hybrid's going to be too much. A little bit of D-loft. Keep it down out of the wind a little bit. Hopefully. A little bit of push on that again, but it's holding with the angle of the wind. Oh, can it sit quick? Not with the firm and fast. It's off the back. Little chip shot up to the hole. Yeah, the chip shots actually in TGC 1 you could be very dangerous with, but I didn't really like the chip shots in that one as much as, like, they really became even more dangerous in TGC 2, where it did start to feel a little bit more natural. And there's a fine example. Chip it in for the birdie to finish the round off. What a great way to finish off the video for TGC 2. Let's go over to the scorecard. Have a little look. Oh, I've dropped 0.1 on my handicap. But yeah, they really became even more dangerous in TGC 2, the chip shots. Another little thing that we also have the introduction of as well is we have the scorecard here. If I press R1 now, we also get the distances, obviously, because we have the multiple tees. So that was another nice little feature to add in as well. But I think I've pretty much covered everything anyway for TGC 2. Everything that I think of. If you do think of anything yourself that you remember from TGC 2 that was improved upon over TGC 1, do drop it down below in the comments. I'm going to leave this one here, and we'll be back in the next one, obviously, for TGC 2019 to finish off this little series. I hope you did enjoy the video. If you did, make sure to drop it a like. If you're only new to the channel or you haven't already, make sure to subscribe if you wish to, and click that bell icon to keep yourself notified of all future uploads from myself. And as always, until the next one, take care, have yourself a good one, and bye for now.